Hello and welcome back to Engerati Studio. We are here at European Utility Week and I am joined by Marius from Rohde Schwarz. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming to join us today.
Thanks for having me.
Firstly, I wanted to ask what your role is at Rohde Schwarz and what you guys are currently doing and what current projects you're working on.
Sure. I'm looking after the critical infrastructure at Rohde Schwarz for cybersecurity. So I'm part of the cybersecurity division. And the current projects we have is with one of the large integrators to look after the local municipalities and to enhance cybersecurity for energy distribution companies.
Okay, fantastic. So I suppose our main focus of the conversation today is around cybersecurity and you know the importance of that nowadays. Mm-hmm. What do you feel are the main challenges to making a network secure for utilities these days?
Mm-hmm. Well, the main challenges that we see in the past, usually the process network was totally separated and as such it was considered as secure. And parallel to that, there was the universe of the IT, the office network. Yeah? And due to making everything smart, all the trends that we also see on this show here, now these networks converge, which is great for efficiency, which is great for information flow, but which is obviously a big threat for cybersecurity. So information can easily now be passed between these two networks and anybody can just access any information. And all the elements out there in the field, the wind parks, the solar panels, they obviously are threatened to be attacked. And then if you have one element, you have the whole grid. So that's basically the challenges that we see. Okay.
And I suppose, what role does legislation play to help with the security issues?
Well, one example that we see, for example, in Germany, where I come from and where our company comes from, is that the legislator has seen these challenges and is actually asking now the utilities and the energy companies to beef up security in their process network and in their overall IT network. And so very recently in Germany, the IT security law was passed by the German government in order to have within 2 or 3 years' time have everybody to have an IT security management system and to actually check their own systems and then implement appropriate measures to close loopholes.
Okay, we were kind of having a chat earlier, and you mentioned industry bodies and how they've played quite a significant part. What advantage do they bring to the table in that sense?
Well, in addition to legislation, I think it's usually the industry bodies that actually know really what's going on, and they obviously also know the challenges for their members, because legislation and introducing ISMS is obviously very costly and taking a lot of resources. So what we feel is that the industry bodies play a very vital role in having white papers or in having checklists and giving concrete examples and guidelines on what companies could and should do. In Germany, for example, the BDEW has launched a white paper, and it goes more into detail. While legislation is very out there, I think it's the industry body's role that can really then have more concrete, down-to-earth guidelines as to what needs to be done.
Okay, fantastic. So I suppose we've kind of covered the industry there, and now kind of want to get down to how Rohde Schwarz play a part in this. How does Rohde Schwarz enhance security for utilities? What do they do?
Well, we have had some solutions already in the field more for government and other critical infrastructures like railway, and we realized that the solutions that we have would also be quite helpful and creating value in the utility field. So we have summarized all the competencies that we have in a new division, Rohde Schwarz Cybersecurity Division, and have developed a couple of solutions that we are also showcasing here at the fair to help utilities to improve their own cybersecurity. Okay,
and we were just talking about what you guys are doing at the show and all the new products you've got going on in your booth.
Yes.
And you mentioned that cybersecurity is a new division in your company, is that right?
It's new, but we've done it for a while, but we have now put it more to the fore. Yes.
Okay. So what products and solutions have you released recently, and what
Yes,
have you
so
got
we have recently added a firewall line. It's under the name Gate Protect. It's a Gate Protect firewall, and with this firewall, we give the utilities the opportunity to check their network traffic and to even decode and detect protocols which are usually only being used in a smart grid. So no other firewall manufacturer has this possibility. So the administrator can now decode the IEC 104 protocol, which is being spoken in the smart grid. And very simply, you can add rules, firewall rules based on this, so that a windmill or a solar panel can only send measurement values or status messages, but you can no longer send a command and control message from the outside world into the data center, for example.
Okay, great. And that you guys have that on display?
That we have on display, that's novelty. We also have two other solutions. The one is an encryption solution, a high-speed encryption with up to 40 gigabits per second, which we basically use between two data centers. Yeah. So all these big data analytics that happen somewhere in a data center, you usually need a backup in another location. And if you have client data there or confidential data that's important and vital to your organization, you wouldn't want to send that unencrypted via a public ground. Yeah. So we have high-speed encryptors with which you can get data securely from A to B. And another solution which we are currently rolling out in Germany for the smart metering infrastructure is a hardware security module, which is being used to basically connect thousands of smart meters securely. By creating certificates that are being loaded onto the smart meter, and when the smart meter calls home, it gets authenticated. And these certificates obviously also need to be kept in a very secure hardware, and this is a device if you try to drill into it or open it in order to get to the keys, it will delete all the data.
Okay. No. Okay, fantastic.
Great.
And one summary kind of question that I ask all my interviews, so it's quite a broad one, but I find it quite interesting.
Okay.
What piece of advice would you now give to utilities looking into security now? What advice would you give them when they're looking for solutions?
Well, I think the most important part in the beginning is to really check what are the loopholes, what are the pitfalls, and to get an overview of what the situation is. This is actually something that's when you introduce an information security management system, this is what you do at the very beginning. And only then to develop a strategy and to carefully roll it out. And yes, then you might need a firewall, or you might need solutions from other providers, but they are always only parts of a puzzle. And it's most important, I think, for the utility itself to have an overview and have somebody who really is in charge for IT security or cyber security. Okay. And also to make sure that you get backing from the C-level, and that you obviously have a significant and appropriate budget.
Yeah, of course. All right, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure, Sophie.
I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Please do join us at engerati.com for more interviews. They'll be uploaded over the next few days. Thank you.